Looking for some inspiration? Well, I always am, and I'm basically like a sponge looking for new ideas, and even if it's down to a fantastic range of coloured paints and colours, then I'm always looking for inspiration. But recently I was up north and I collected a few bits and pieces from my travels, and a lot of people are saying, how do you get that lovely Scottish feel with a contemporary twist? So I thought I would go through the process of how I created and looked at how I could create, or you could create, a contemporary Scottish interior. So I'll tilt down, show you what I've collected, talk about the atmosphere, and show you how I've chosen some finishes. So starting off, I found these beautiful pieces. And these were some rocks that I found. And you'll see the beautiful slate greys and warm tones that all work very, very well. Now this was actually the covering of a display bottle of Scottish vodka, which I loved the feeling of the slightly distressed wood. And these were some dried grasses along the shoreline, because what I would try to do was get a feeling of that fantastic driftwood feel, that lovely feeling of Scotland, but in a contemporary way. So even some of the shells bringing in lovely bone colours. You'll see here, but I mean this little stone, which I'm going to show you in a second, this one here really pulls everything together. Now that little stone has the grey tones, the bone earthy sand tones going into the warm sandstone colours. So those three colours there really dictate the kind of look that I would be going for to create a really lovely Scottish inspired interior. On top of that, beach combing, I found old pieces of grass and rope which had been gnarled by the sea, beautiful dark bluish green colours. Some wool from sheep eating the kelp and eating the seaweed on the shore. Really nice for you introducing fake furs and introducing different tones. And some dried seaweed also. And you'll see this is starting to pull a lovely feeling together of atmospheres. And on top of that, keep introducing some of the wooden tones. And then on the beach, luckily I found these lovely pieces of dried timbers. And you'll see that, I mean, what I've tried to do as well is contrast the darks into the lights as well. And if I tilt that down for you to see that properly, you'll see it's a beautiful blend of soft sands, cool greys, natural bones and timbers, all pulling together to really pull the texture there. And that's important for you really to create a strong environment and range of finishes, because you want to then look at colour tones on this kind of palette here, which pull these lovely tones in. And even if we went a little bit warmer with the storm shore lichens, even into the warm sort of sandstony colours, these work extremely well. Now looking back to some of the other images that really inspired me on the trip. So I love these seaweed tones and warm greens and golds, and where the sky meets the shore, going into the land and the dried grasses, that beautiful blend, and even a little sheep in there having its lunch, the blend of the sand onto the granites, and even looking at down in the harbour area, these lovely feelings of textures and rope and lobster creels. And these all work so well together to give that beautiful blend of finishes. So from that inspiration and using my images and samples, I've then looked at this colorway. Now all of these would work really, really well. Obviously the stronger colors are better as maybe feature tones, maybe pipings, cushions, florals, artwork, but these softer flax, pinky greys, sandy greys, all work great if you're doing like a tongue and groove type atmosphere on the walls, which is a very, very strong look. So moving forward from those finishes, which I will put there, you'll see I'm now looking at samples of fabrics that really bring together my look. Now this is a great range, and it's a new range of rugs I've started to use, and these remind me almost like shifting sands. So that's the sort of, you imagine the water's going back out into the sea and it leaves this beautiful texture onto the sandy beach areas, and it comes in different colours. And you'll see that all of those could work extremely well to give you instantly a beautiful, almost shoreline feel. But when you're looking at wall coverings and textures and flooring, I like all these kind of seagrass tones, and this bleached timber, which I have used many, many times to great effect, even in my own home, work really well because it gives a really strong, there's that wee space there, oh yeah, a really strong feeling of texture, and that all is beginning to get the groundworks for you then to build on. We'd then be looking at maybe some wall coverings, and this almost looks like it's woven from seagrass. It's a great wall texture, and that you'll see if I pop in there is beginning to pull all of those samples together. And if we close up a little bit more, you'll see the wallpaper, the shifting sands rugs on a lovely sort of Hessian background, and you can contrast into some of the colours. And then we're looking at what puts the meat on the bones. And I would say you're looking for fake furs, fabrics, textures, and what better fabric than using these lovely corduroys. Now these are actually upholstery fabrics. These could be great for feature chairs or cushions, or on a lighter fabric would also work really well as curtains. But you'll see just that little range of colour there is bringing in all those textures, again evoking the ruggedness of the landscape. We've got some fabrics here. Again, this looks almost like fossilized, a little bit like the rock formations. And then what you want to do is to start to add a little bit of contrast. Now, you can bring some instant texture in with these fake furs, lovely for throws, or just a little bit of fun. And with them being fake fur, it just adds a little bit of that. You can see the texture here, replicated onto the finishes here, and then the finishing touches, an homage to Scotland, and looking at beautiful tweeds and herringbones. And these fabrics are absolutely sumptuous. Brand new colours, brand new collections, super for upholstery. And they almost look like woven, almost like a Harris tweed, but they have a kind of velvet effect to them. And those are bringing in even more texture, and you could see everything here replicated into its own form as a fabric. And then let's have a little look. You know, my favorite objects are curtains. Now these, if you see, they've got little pieces of tufted fabric on them, and it's a bit like sheep's wool maybe caught on a fence. This is a new range of fabrics I've just got in from Wind Fabrics, and those, little bit of fun there, little bit of fun there, Look at the texture from all of this jumping out at you onto these areas here. And that, even beautiful linens that look like water pools, rock pools, all work extremely well. I'm going to give you a little close-up of the boards. So the starting point with my beach finds from beach combing, driftwoods, pebbles, sheep's wool, rope, pebbles, and then looking at texture of carpets, adding on texture to walls, texture onto your upholstery, some fun with textured fake furs, some beautiful fossil velvets, and all in all, a beautiful range of materials that you can use to create your very own Scotland at home. And that principle is what you can use from any visit and from any area or any place that you visit. Look at the key elements. How do I replicate them? How do I bring good design home? See you soon.